Morning YouTube, and welcome back again to another Halloween film review. This is more of a documentary review than a film review. Um, we'll be reviewing the fantastic documentary Terror in the Aisles, which you can only get on Blu-ray on this particular Halloween 2 set put out by Universal. It's one of the extras, so you have to go under the extras. It's a bonus feature. Terror in the Aisles. Okay, and it's about an hour and 23 minutes, so it's a pretty lengthy documentary, and all this really is, and it's absolutely fantastic. And by the way, the only way to get this, if not for this, is on VHS. Okay, so this is definitely the way to go. It's really cleaned up, at least as far as I can tell. Um, this is really cool, folks, because it what they did was they just took like a hodgepodge of different horror films from various horror films and sort of put them together, and occasionally jumping in and out of from the clips to a theater setting where hosted by two folks, um, the very talented and wonderful, of course, the man who needs no introduction, Donald Pleasence of Halloween fame, and one of my personal favorite Argento films, Phenomena, with young Jennifer Connelly. Okay, and the female host is the very beautiful Nancy Allen, whom we all know from, well, of course, the RoboCop franchise, the originals, but also from Carrie. Some other stuff I know her from. I just can't quite put my finger on what. But anyways, getting back to Tearing the Aisles. Okay, so I'm not reviewing Halloween 2, even though I started watching it and then I got sleepy at the end because it was like 2 or 3 in the morning when after Tearing the Aisles was over last night. So, but okay, so there you go. And what's great about this is it opens up in a movie theater setting with Donald Pleasence narrating, talking about I guess the ideas behind horror films, or what it's like to go to the theater, like the experience of it, and the camera pans through the audience. You see the reactions, and it'll kind of go to a clip, but then mostly the reaction shots of the audience watching this film. It gets it down to Pleasance, and it has this frightful look on his face, and he turns to the camera and says, "But you have to remind yourself it's only a movie. But after the movie is over, you have to go home." Basically telling you to watch your back when you go home. And then it would jump to different clips, and then when it'll come back, it'll jump to Nancy Allen, and she's talking about particular clips and stuff like that. And mostly what it consists of is them talking about like some of the ideas behind the what's the word here, some of the tricks that the horror films use, such as like with the villains, like it's usually the person you do not expect to be the villain. It could be even a close personal pal of yours, and this person betrays you, or it turns out to be the killer. There's old classic tricks that they used in the old days, and what's great about that is whatever theme they're highlighting for that segment, they're showing clips that relate to it, almost basically going through the whole main scene of various different films, jumping back and forth. Now there are some films in here that I'm not gonna lie, okay, folks, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. There were a bunch of films I saw off of these clips. A lot of them, in fact, or at least seen them, came in the middle of them. But a lot of them I have seen. But there was still a whole bunch of them too that I don't recognize and I have not seen. For example, there is one clip featuring Wings Hauser. I know from Beastmaster 2. It was Arklon. So it features him. And it looked like he was a killer. I don't know what movie that is. Okay. There was another clip with Nancy Allen in it as well that was not Carrie. It was really weird. I don't know what film that was. I don't recall that one. And here's one. So not everything seemed like it was horror, because there was one that looked almost like an action film with Sylvester Stallone and Rutger Hauer is a bad guy. What film is that? Could that be Cobra? I have Cobra, but it's been quite a long time since I've seen it. It's time for a revisit. So if that's Cobra, then I guess I have that film. I didn't bother looking this up in Google yet, just to give you guys an idea of the the things that I've seen in the past, and it's kind of fun that way. And I can always look it up later. But it's kind of fun. Maybe you guys can write in the comments below and let me know what these films are that I'm missing out on. One with Michael Ironside. I have an idea that this is possibly Scanners. Now, I've never seen I've never seen Scanners. Sorry. Okay. But I do want to. And if that's available on Blu-ray, then I'm gonna have to do a blind on that. But it was Michael Ironside, and it's almost like he's concentrating to make people blow up, essentially. And great gore effects in that one. Classic practical effects and gore effects. It looked like his veins were popping out, and then the other guy's veins would pop out, and then his head would blow up. So there's a Michael Ironside horror film. There's another one where it looked like some other guy, it wasn't Michael Ironside. The two veins on his forehead would kind of like pop up, and there was not really a Ferris wheel, but he was in a carnival of some sort. And there's this thing like almost like a Ferris wheel, but it's like tilted this way from the ground, and it's spinning. And one of the carts, I guess, on that thing unhinges and flies out and goes through the window. What film is that? Is that from the same Scanners film? I don't know. It wasn't Michael Ironside, mind you. So I don't know what film that was. There was another one. I've seen stuff with Donald Sutherland was in there, and these people coming out of pods. At first I was thinking Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but then again, something else came to mind. Another film I haven't seen is the Puppet Masters. What that could possibly be? Puppet Masters? A Jeff Goldblum horror film that was featured in there that was not The Fly, although you did see clips of, or snippets, I should say, clips of the original Fly with Vincent Price, so that was fantastic. A lot of great classic clips that I've seen on this. There's even a little, clips from an interview with Alfred Hitchcock, basically talking about his, the master of suspense himself, about his concept of suspense and how to, how to go about filming something like that. He gave a great example, something about to the effect of you put a bomb and put it under the table. Don't tell the audience, and then in a crowd of room with people, and it just blows up, and there's just like 10 seconds of scares right there. Excited. The audience gets excited for like 10 seconds. Now, you put a bomb under the table and set it for like 5 minutes, and you tell the people, there's a bomb under there. Now let's talk about something else. Well, then the audience, you extend that from 10 seconds to like 5 minutes, which appears to be, would seem longer because it's of, torture. I think the Steven Seagal film, there's a not really a line, but Steven Seagal wrote this message on the wall, and I think this says it. He said it best, I guess, or wrote it best. And it's the film called Hard to Kill. He's going after Senator Trent in his mansion, and he wrote the message in blood. Anticipation of death, or sorry, I can't talk today. I just woke up. Sorry. But I had time to shower and everything. But anticipation of death is worse than death itself. Okay, so great way of putting it, and that's, I guess, that takes Alfred Hitchcock's concept to heart. Great clips, loved it. Of course, you got the usual Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Brood, bunch of other films, and that's the thing. After watching Tear in the Isles, yeah, it's a thing that kind of sparked me to want to watch Halloween 2 again. So that's why right after it was done, I put on Halloween 2, but I just couldn't, didn't have the fortitude to stick with it since it was like, 3 in the morning, and I got really, really sleepy. So there we go. I don't know if I'm gonna do a review on any of the Halloweens. I think some of my fellow YouTubers here in the globe might be doing something like that. I want to sort that through with them. I was trying to pick more obscure stuff, or things that I'm pretty sure that wasn't all that popular, just because I want to consult with the rest of the crew to see what they think. Like what are you going to get the Halloweens, or you want to do the Halloweens? Are you even going to do the Halloweens? Just kind of consult with them and let them, we'll sort things out that way. But anyways, back with Terror in the Aisles. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it wasn't like your traditional documentary where it's like giving interviews with directors or actors or anything like that, or going behind the scenes. It's more of just showing the clips of the films. It's almost like a documentary film itself. It's like a film of you being in the audience watching clips from movies, and you're right there with the audience. Some of the reaction shots, when it would show, the scares of the audiences, I know it's exaggerated, and of course, back in the time, but it's still very relevant, of course, today. And I've seen people jump and kind of scream at certain horror films, like Conjuring and things like that nowadays. But something about horror films back in the old days that just seemed truly horrific to me. I don't know if it was the practical effects, with how they, the blood is really there, and the prop is really there when the skin splits open and gets cut in half or whatever. It's actually there. There's something physically there, versus overdosing it with CG effects to provide the gore. So I don't know what that is. Or same thing with the monsters and the creature effects, like the alien creature in Alien, that used a real prop for that. Great stuff versus all CG now. Something actually physical to touch and to look at for that. Something for the actor to actually work with, actor or actress. So great stuff. Terror in the Aisles. I think you could get this like fairly cheap now for only like $8.99. I ended up paying like $14 for this, with the shipping. But $8.99. I highly recommend you folks pick this up, even if you already have the Shout Factory edition, which I'm still going to get the Shout Factory edition. Possibly on my next check. It's only $17.99 for it, and this is only $8.99. And just like I said, for Terror in the Aisles alone is well worth the price of admission for this thing. Okay, so there we go. Picture quality was very, very good, in my personal opinion, and the sound quality was excellent as well. I thought that Donald Pleasence and Nancy Allen made excellent hosts for this thing. They couldn't have picked any two better for it. And just great stuff, clips from Carrie, of course, Psycho. There's some other black and white film. Maybe you guys can help me out too. It looked like she was like Betty White or someone, where she was tending to some handicapped woman in a wheelchair. There's a scene in there where when she brought out her breakfast or her food, and when she opened up the thing to eat, the handicapped woman, there was a rat in there. And there's a scene where this Betty White character, if truly in fact she is Betty White, I'm not too sure, she just started kicking the shit out of this woman. Black and white film, mind you. So let me know what film that is. The other one, I think, with the Michael Caine one, is that Dressed to Kill? I could be wrong, maybe. And another one where this woman was just on the phone, and then somehow when she called the cops, and when they traced it, it was coming from inside the house, they said. What film is that? Okay, is that Dressed to Kill also? I don't know. So a lot of films I don't know of. And you have recommendations for some great horror films. I've seen things, The Brood and things like that. Burnt Offerings, from back in the day as a child. And speaking of Terror in the Aisles, I think I have actually seen bits of it a long time ago. Just not all of it. As I was watching it, I was, things were looking very, very familiar to me. Absolutely loved Terror in the Aisles. Pick it up. Highly recommend it just for the documentary alone. And the film, of course, is really, really good. Just, get the film on Scream Factory, or by Scream Factory, and then get, this one for Terror in the Aisles. All in all, love the documentary, the film documentary. And I would give Terror in the Aisles a solid 4 out of 4, or 4 out of 5 stars. Not 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 folks. 4 stars out of 5. Okay, so there we go. There's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the Globe and subscribe to each and every person involved in the Globe and each and every person that they all recommend and I recommend. You can go to our channels and see what we all recommend. Okay, thank you folks, and happy Halloween.